on doing what they want and just let them just enjoy the last years of their life.
You'll get no argument from Billy Joe about this philosophy, just as long as the pizza slices and spaghetti keep coming. Though few of the older infected chimps will likely enjoy long lives, a teenager like Binky could live for another 40 or 50 years.
Good God. Richard and I are both in our 40s, and I'm looking at my little Binky, and he's going to be here after I'm gone. Someone's got to look after him when I'm gone.
When they started out, the sanctuary was a private undertaking, and Richard paid for almost everything out of his own pocket. In 3 years, housing and taking care of the chimps has cost close to $1 million. But with an extension to the chimp house on the drawing board, and the need to ensure stable funding to keep Gloria's dream alive, the foundation and its board of directors have established an endowment, so the French fries will keep coming, and Binky's future will be provided for.
Oh, look at the baby's face. Oh, good job, Baba.
That was, Binky today was just absolutely the most affectionate he's ever been with me, and the whole time he's here. It was incredible. He's kissed me once before. It was maybe 3 months after he moved in, and that's pretty much the first time today. So that's 3 years later. That's pretty special. Those are the special moments in my life, in my job. So it's a great waitress job.
An old friend has come to visit, and he gets a warm welcome. Dr. Mahoney has come from his home in New York to check on the chimps' health. It's also a social visit since he's very fond of the chimps, and most of them are fond of him.
Nice to see her. She looks so beautiful. She does. It is so nice to see you. She looks good. She looks great. Hi. Do you remember me? Hello. 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 Hello.
Oh, I knew that.
With a longer memory than the others, Petra hasn't forgotten that this is the man who subjected her to painful research procedures in the lab, to which Mahoney himself candidly admits.
I did research on them, you know, and I can't pretend I didn't.
But you were still their friend. You cared.
I was their friend, but I did do the research. You know, you have to understand that. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I did do it. And I purposely did some of the unpleasant things because I didn't want to not assume that responsibility. You know, I wanted to know what it was like to carry that responsibility and not shove it off into someone else's shoulders. In the beginning, I believed so much in what I was doing in research that so long as the animals weren't cruelly treated, I found it acceptable to use non-human primates. But things started to change for me when I got to Lemsip.
Not long after he arrived, Mahoney took home 2 motherless rhesus monkeys and an orphan newborn chimp he named Spike Mulligan. Living with the little chimp changed the way he saw things.
As I saw him develop, being able to go into a forest and climb trees or be in my arms and pick fruit off of a tree, I began to realize what we were denying these animals by keeping them in cages.
In addition, every day in the lab he was confronted by chimpanzees in terrible pain and acute mental distress. And there were the routine cruelties, like chimps being sedated with a powerful dart gun.
It became increasingly difficult for me to work. I was no longer so convinced in the rightness of what I was doing. And I would say once a week for 20 odd years, I would threaten myself that I was going to leave, that come next Monday I was going to walk off the job, throw up research and go back to being a vet in practice. I got something in here. I brought all...
But he stayed because many of the animals had become his friends, and he could make life a little more bearable for them.
No. Let me kiss that little finger. Can I kiss that little finger, please? Donna?
He was also convinced that without biomedical research using chimps, human health would suffer.
To this day, I still have to say I believe that to suddenly stop using non-human primates would have a profound effect on our development in medical research, but at an incredible cost to the animals.
It's generally accepted that this type of research has contributed to the development of vaccines for polio and hepatitis. It has also led to a better understanding of heart disease, to which chimps are prone, and has aided the study of geriatric conditions. On the other hand, 2 decades of AIDS research, which saw agonizing experimentation on thousands of chimps and cost billions of dollars, has produced no significant outcome. Some argue that since chimps infected with HIV don't develop AIDS, they are an unsuitable model. Then there's the dark, dirty secret of consumer research. Chimps continue to be fed insecticides and drain cleaner to determine what constitutes a lethal dose.
Public opinion is really very strongly now supporting us. And there is more evidence from medical people as to the often faulty science on which animal experimentation is based. So that, you know, even though people might think, well, we should always put humans before chimpanzees, if it can be shown to them that this research that's so torturing the chimps isn't even helpful to humans, then you are in a very strong position.
It's all right.
Several countries, including Australia, New Zealand, and Great Britain, have finally banned the use of all great apes in medical research. Where it continues, especially in the United States, Jane Goodall believes labs should be legally obliged to care for chimpanzees humanely, using professional staff, and in the end retiring the animals to sanctuaries like Gloria's, where they can live out the rest of their lives in peace. It's the 3rd winter since the chimps arrived. Before they came here, few had even seen snow. But they're curious and adaptable, and many of them enjoy spending a few minutes in the close to 0 temperatures, just as long as they can keep their feet out of the cold white stuff. For some like Pablo, a look is enough. Binky gets more into the spirit of things. Even Jeannie ventures as far as the doorway, but no further. Billy Joe typically takes it all in his stride, sucking down a popsicle like an overgrown kid, and being a trendsetter for the others to follow.
Chimpanzees are too much like us. I never wanted children because I was afraid, I guess, that I might not raise them properly or, worried about what could happen to a child and just didn't know anything about children.
Look at the face on here. I'll put them in a cup for you. Take them with you.
And so
Go on up and take them.
I've learned about children through the chimps.
Honey. Annie. Oh.
We're constantly learning from them, and everyone sees that.
Oh, it's all right.
What are you so mad about? What are you so mad?
I am kind of the mother figure in the chimp house. I often have to tend to wounds and things like that. But what's incredible about the chimpanzees is that they care about my wounds. And after all they've been through, all the suffering in the laboratory and, unnecessary physical pain, unnecessary mental anguish, they still care about us. I'll go in and I'll have just a small cut on my hand or a bandage that I'm wearing from something that happened the day before. All my new friends come up to the front to see what's wrong with me. And that's very powerful. That's an amazing thing. I never thought that they would ever forgive us all as humans enough to care about us, and they have.
And even Jeannie, now weaned off her drugs, has started to come out of her shell and play.
Play only happened for Jeannie 3 years after she moved into the sanctuary. She responds to different things now. She's becoming a chimp again. She gives me her toes to touch, her face, her neck. Jeannie will let you scratch her back. She's a true testament to retirement. She still has really, really, really bad days, but the bad days are slowly disappearing. And the good days are there's just so many good days now for her.
A visitor is coming to the Fauna Foundation, and even before she emerges from the van, Billy Joe seems to have guessed who it is.
I'm gonna let you. All right. Look at her. Thank you for I had to hug you so hard.
Jane Goodall visits the sanctuary as often as her non-stop schedule of fundraising and public appearances allows. And whenever she does, she can be sure of a big welcome from her friend, Billy Joe.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh my God. I never see him like this. He's so happy. Crazy guy. Billy Joe had Jane to himself, and she had Billy to herself. She just completely ignored all the rest of us. And if she looks at Billy and thinks he's a happier man because of his new life, then that must make her feel good inside and must just give her the power and the energy to go on and continue trying to save another individual, because that's all she's working for.
This is also what Gloria has been working for. 3 years ago, there was a moment when she wondered if she'd been crazy to take on all this. But since then, she's seen that what she's doing works, and she's confident that it's the right thing to do.
I know chimpanzees should not be kept in tiny little cages and tortured every day of their life.
Look at that face on that girl.
That's not happening now, so I know that's the right thing. There she is. I know that chimpanzees should not have to live on one type of food every single day of their life. And they're not living like that, so I know I'm doing the right thing. I know that chimpanzees should never live alone. And I know that they're living with one another now. They have friendships, so I'm doing the right thing. It's the right thing. I don't have to see a happy face. I don't have to see someone grateful or happy to see me when I go in. Those things don't really matter as much as knowing what's right and what's wrong.